Welcome back, my turtles, to Art with Foxfoot Crafts. And today you guys are going to get to watch me create an original character. This character is to serve as a non-playable character in a campaign that a friend of mine has going on. My friend is super big into the 80s. I actually have two friends that I love them so much, and we all collect 80s My Little Ponies. And so we had talked about the 80s and the style of the 80s, and if we were back in the 80s right now, how would we dress? And of course I would be one of those just grungy 80s gothcore kind of kids, and so think of like a goth Cyndi Lauper. So I was told by the friend that's doing the campaign that I should draw my, I think we were calling it 80s Sonas. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. So I went through on Fire Alpaca and just kind of sketched her out. Like I said, I feel like I would have been one of those way too overly goth kind of 80s chicks. And funny enough, when I look at how I dressed in high school, I pretty much carried over the 80s. Like, I wore the black trench coat and the black mini skirt and the torn up fishnets and the knee-high boots, and it just, I very much could have been sucked back then. But for her, I wanted to give her a little bit more of an authentic 80s feel instead of my twist on it. So yeah, I started off sketching out basic kind of form, tweaking it, adjusting it, getting her to look kind of how I wanted her to look. I decided to give her the kind of choppy, straight across bangs, big giant earrings, big thick, luxurious, way too much hairspray, probably shouldn't be smoking around it kind of hair. And just kind of a snarky, smirk kind of face. I feel like that's generally how my face looks all the time anyway. Lots of chunky bangle kind of jewelry. And again, kind of that like smug looking kind of face. I figured I wanted her to have lots of jewelry, and quickly regretted that decision because drawing lots of jewelry is irritating as all get out. I kind of bounced back and forth between whether I wanted her to wear a trench coat or a jean jacket, and while I wore a trench coat in high school, I decided ultimately to give her the traditional jean jacket with the cut-off sleeves. So as I was a kid that smoked in high school, it only made sense to have my character smoking as well. Because again, this was supposed to be sort of a 80s Sona, so who we would be if we were transported to the 80s right now. And from there, I printed her out, used my light board to trace her out, and then got to coloring. It does seem like I lost the footage where I had traced her out. Don't know quite what happened there. I definitely know I was recording it, and that's because, again, the friends that I have, we were actually on a Zoom call at the time, chatting. We kind of got together for an art jam and just hung out for a couple hours. So I know that I recorded it, but I don't know where the footage is. So sorry about that, y'all. I did try giving her some extra color, like some bright pink, some bright yellow, because that felt kind of 80s to me, but ultimately I may end up changing that. I'm not 100% sold on the super colors on her, and I did try using a lighter gray instead of a solid black, but next time I draw her, I might actually go back and use a much darker black for everything to really give her that goth appearance. And since this is kind of my 80s Sona, she would have the same kind of pale, pasty skin as me. I definitely would have worn way more makeup than I currently do. But from there, I was pretty satisfied with her. I might redraw her. I still have to come up with a name for her. But otherwise, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied. So I will scan her to show the actual colors. And there you have it. Like I said, I'm not 100% sold on the colors yet. I might change that scheme up. But for now, I like her. I'm going to go with her. And I just got to come up with a name. So, what kind of characters do you guys create? I'm curious to know. Comment below. And I will see y'all next time.